Hi, everyone. We welcome you to OzarkRadioNews.com, and we have video content on our website quite often, and new stuff as often as we can. And today, we've been very fortunate this week in that we had Steve Airy, the former head coach of the West Plains Football Zizzers, with us here on our website, talking to him about his tenure, his 7 years at West Plains High School as he moves on to Harrison, Arkansas. So, in quick order, we now have a new head football coach for the West Plains Zizzers. He's not a new coach here. He's been an assistant since 2016. But we have Matt Perkins here to my right, your left, as we talk to him about the job. And we're also going to talk to Ethan Smith, part of his staff here, in just a little bit as well. But we're very happy to have Matt with us here on the website today. And the first thing I was going to ask him is, Matt, what was your general reaction? You obviously wanted the job, but once you have the job, that's a whole different thing. So what has been going through your mind since you were named head coach?
You know, it's been a whirlwind. It's a little different. I was a head coach at Willow for 6 years, and we've got double the kids, we've got double the media at least, and so it's been really hectic and really busy. But I guess emotionally, just elated. You know, I made a move a few years back to come and help Steve and to learn, and just really feel blessed to be on this side of it right now.
Well, you're obviously, like you say, you've been a head coach in the past. You've been on Steve's staff. You've had a long relationship with Steve Airy. Now, I'm sure that he's had a pretty profound effect on your coaching style and your philosophy.
Yeah, with Coach Airy, he's a one of a kind, but when you spend time with any, good coach, you want to try to pick things up from him and learn from him. And I think the big takeaway from him is how much he loves his kids and how much he puts into making sure that they do the right things. And my first job as a coach was an assistant for him his last year at Willow Springs. Mm-hmm. So I've been around him for a long time, and just came here 4 years ago and thought I need to learn a little bit of football and try to get better, and who better to do it with than Steve.
A Hall of Fame coach at that. What is the difference being an assistant coach and being a head coach? Because I was going through that in my mind today, and I wonder what the main difference is, because I've never been there myself. But when you're the head coach and the buck stops at your desk, you can't be the buddy you are sometimes as an assistant. You've got to be able to, every once in a while, kind of crack the whip, don't you?
Oh, that's it. And we've had a conversation with our seniors here. Both Ethan and I are taking on a much larger role in the program, and we've been those guys that have had the love on them. And when Steve's having to play bad cop, we've had to come in and play good cop and get him through some tougher moments. And now we're going to have to flip the switch on him and be a little bit different. Mm-hmm. And so that's probably going to be the most interesting dynamic for Ethan and I think going to change.
So if a kid says, boy, Coach Matt, a little bit different than he was last year, that's going to be part of it, right?
Yeah, the first time I yell at somebody, they may be
Who's
confused.
This guy?
Maybe a little confusing, I don't know.
But your staff and for football teams, your staff is a big part of what you do, and we have Ethan over here to my left. Talk a little bit about him.
Absolutely. So Ethan, he's been actually at West Plains a year longer than me, and he played for Steve Airy in Mountain Grove. Graduated in 07. 09. Not as old as I thought, but he's been running the back end of the defense for Coach Airy and has done a tremendous job back there. And Coach has given him more and more on his plate for the last 3 years that I've been watching. And he's ready for this jump to be the new defensive coordinator for West Plains, and I'm just excited for his opportunity. He's going to kind of pass the torch on the back end to a different assistant, and Ethan's going to be able to float around a little bit for our defense and coach linebackers a little bit, coach D-line a little bit, still have his hand on the back end, and he's going to do an awesome job.
Ethan, you came from Mountain Grove, and that's a football program that's got such a long, rich history, going back to Carl Williams and some of those great teams that they had back there in the 60s and 70s, and up through now they've been very successful. Of course, Steve Airy was there as a head coach too. So has it been much different coming from Mountain Grove to West Plains to coach football, which is a little bigger program?
Ironically, no. I mean, it's the same. Steve came my freshman year to Mountain Grove. So I played for Steve all 4 years, and that's all I knew as far as Mountain Grove football. I knew Steve Airy, what he stood for, how he taught, how he coached. So, I mean, I came to West Plains, and it was almost like I was back at home anyway. So getting to coach with that guy after playing for him is just, I don't know. You know how it is. It's a totally different experience, but it's still the same Steve. Absolutely love that guy to death. So I think that's probably the biggest thing that I take starting my own defense. It's not a different defense, but just taking all those things from Steve and putting my own little spin on it.
Yeah, I was going to say, philosophically, what are the main things what was the main thing or two maybe that you learned, not necessarily maybe playing for him, but certainly coaching with him, that you've picked up?
Steve is Bill Belichick-like in the sense that he leaves no stone left unturned. Every possible trick play, we have found teams that, I played this coach 15 years ago and he did this trick play, we're going to be ready for it. He doesn't leave a single stone unturned, whether it be a trick play, whether it be a coach that he coached against 10 years ago that just got a job. He uncovers everything. The kids will always be prepared for every possibility that they see.
Matt, talk about some of the other people that you'll have on your staff this year. Do you have many new faces, or is it going to be pretty much the same?
Really very fortunate. We're keeping the whole staff intact, with the exception of we have to replace Steve, who's leaving, and so we're bringing in Brandon Pitts from Willow Springs. Is going to be our new hire at the high school. Brandon's going to be in charge of the back end. It's going to let Ethan kind of float around a little bit. He was the defensive coordinator at Willow last year, Brandon was. And so he comes in, a younger guy, fresh mind and ready to go. But we bring back Coach Womack, who has been calling the offense here, I think 17 of the last 19 years. He's taken on a different role, and he's been really helpful to me the last 4 years, and I think that pattern's going to continue. We bring back Corey Porter, our offensive line coach, who's unsung hero for what we do.
The Sexton legend.
Yes, he is, and he's a good basketball coach, but he's also a phenomenal football coach, and the kids love him. I can't wait to get him back. He's on vacation right now. Coach Dixon works with our D-line, and he's going to continue to do that, and he brings a ton of energy and fire. And Coach Cordy is coming back to help. I thought I might be losing Coach Cordy, but he's going to come back and help us at linebacker. He's really good there. He's been sitting behind Steve for 7 years or whatever, and has picked up quite a few things doing that. So we're really blessed to have that group all back, and hopefully we can just keep going.
More often than not over the years, when a coach leaves, a lot of the time they leave because, well, the cupboard gets a little bit bare and it's time to go somewhere where there's more groceries. That's not the case here. Coach Airy has left this program, not just as far as players for this year, but he built a foundation with the lower grades, and he's really got things going now.
Yeah, absolutely. We do graduate a lot of kids, and we graduate a lot of experience, but the program itself, we've got a really good incoming freshman class. We've got a good freshman class that's going to be sophomores, and we've got some, there's a pretty good key piece or two that are returning as well. A couple all-state guys, and Connor Rackley's coming back at quarterback, and led guard, and you feel good about that. That's a pretty good tool set to work with.
If you have, from a football standpoint, if you can run the football, you're going to be able to compete, and you should be able to run the football this year.
Absolutely. That that little back's about to be top 10 in the state of Missouri all time running the ball, and I think we can get him there this year, and he's a dandy. What
do you think about, just from this far off, it's hard to know, but the Ozark Conference in general? You guys dominated the league last year. You turbo clocked everybody but Ladue. But going into next season, do you have an idea?
What's interesting about that, about turbo clocking everybody, prior to that year, just about every time we play a game, it's a close game. Mm-hmm. And it's a really competitive conference. You've got athletes everywhere in the conference, and I think it'll be a really competitive year where there's going to be some closer ball games. Lebanon will be good. Camdenton will be good. Waynesville, you really don't know what you're going to get there, but they're always athletic. Parkview's athletic. Glendale, 5 wide, throwing it everywhere. I mean, you just go down the list, and it's a tough conference to play in. And so our kids, they're used to it at this point. They're used to the travel, and we're ready to go.
And the fans are ready to go too. The fans of this town have just got so behind this football program. And Steve and I were talking the other day, and I said, it's probably like it is in maybe parts of Oklahoma or Texas or places where you have such phenomenal community support. We have such huge crowds that come out on Friday nights to watch the team and follow the football team on the road. And community support is a huge thing, isn't it?
That's one of the things that Steve has done so well is brought parents in and involved them, and the town has just rallied around this program. And it is special. The kids, when we walked down the hill at Ladue to go play that game, we had the whole town was there, it seemed like. You look up and you got 3,500 people in the stands on any given home game. It's pretty awesome, and we want to keep that going. Need them to keep supporting, and they will. It's a good thing.
Well, it's going to be a good thing to have Matt here as the new head football coach of the Zizzers. Look forward to another exciting year. Thanks to Ethan for being here today too, and look forward to what the year 2019 football will bring for West Plains. And Zizzer football has made quite a turnaround, and it should be another exciting year. And of course, you can catch all the games here on Ozark Radio Network on Hot Country KDY, as you have as the official station for Zizzer football. Thanks to Matt, thanks to Ethan, and thanks to you for watching us here on OzarkRadioNews.com.